Houston Texans are going to have the best offense in the NFL. I mean, it's that simple. You look on paper, you got Mr. CJ Stroud, who even if he doesn't improve a lick, is still really, really fucking good. Okay? You got Joe Mixon in the backfield. Love Joe Mixon. Draft him every year in fantasy. But that's besides the point. He's still really good. Then you got Stefon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, who Nico Collins and Tank Dell looked fantastic last year under this offense. And Diggs, like we said, you know, he may have lost a step, sure. I don't think he's the vertical threat he once was, but I still think, you know, cutting up the field and being that, I still think his route running is amongst one of the best in the league. Still think he's one of the best in the league at route running. His route tree is great. And then you can have Nico Collins really stretch the field. And Tank Dell can do a little bit of everything too. So, yeah, I think this really moves the needle for the Houston Texans.
I'll just chime in and be quick with this. Houston's going to be explosive. It's just that simple. Nico Collins, I felt like going into next season, you know, the NFL knows. The secret's out now. He's a superstar. Quickly became that as well. Tank Dell, the secret was out very quickly. He's a very good wide receiver. And then you add a vet who's been there, done that, and Stefon Diggs. And yes, for all the same reasons that I said the Bills need to get rid of Stefon Diggs, I think this is the perfect place to control Stefon Diggs. Because DeMeco Ryans is not Sean McDermott. I'll tell you that right now. That man ain't going to put up with none of that shit. So I think this offense is super star-studded, yes, for sure. I wonder if Mixon takes a slight step back because he's an aging running back with a whole lot of tread on his tires. But even then, I mean, look, you have a superstar at the quarterback position. Diggs is going from superstar to future superstar. So I think it's just you guard one of them, you got to deal with two others. So, and then not to mention you have Dalton Schultz as well at the tight end position, who's a great safety blanket, an improving offensive line, and a defense that looks like it's just going to absolutely wreck games. I mean, Houston is a problem.
Yeah.
Houston is simply a problem. So, yeah. Lav, how you feeling from the Texans side of things?
Houston's probably in the top 5 in Super Bowl contention right now.
Top 5.
Woo. They got Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson coming off the edge too. That's scary. That's scary right there.
Thought I gave high praises.
Whew.
I respect.
Top 5. Top 5. Let's see. San Fran, KC.
Hold off on that before we just
We're gonna
give
do
you
that?
Yeah, just
Okay,
give your
all right,
thoughts
cool,
on the
cool,
trade.
Cool. Apologies. Continue.
Was that a hot take? I apologize.
No. You have every right
I
to
mean,
say
you
that.
apologize. It's content, brother.
Brother, we want hot takes.
what you
That's
gotta
the
do.
point.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do for this shit. But
No, you guys have said it all. I mean, they have all the weapons for Stroud, and they look like a really impressive team going forward. Look dominant. They should win that division easily.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys pretty much hit everything on the head. Giving C.J. Stroud another weapon like Diggs should only take C.J. Stroud's game to the next level. But then, honestly, the biggest winner of the trade is Bobby Slowick. We saw what he did with this group last year. The scheme was super creative and out of the box, and now you add another weapon like that. So I'm super excited to see what Slowick could do with this group and how creative he could get. Should be fun to watch, and they should definitely be able to compete. But
Also, a little wrinkle with that Diggs trade. Apparently, they renegotiated something with his
restructured
contract.
him, yes.
They restructured his
So
contract.
they cut off the last 3 years. So he's a free agent after
And
this
then-
I've never
year.
seen anything
And
like
if they
that.
let him walk in free agency, they get a compensatory pick in return. So
so they basically only lose a round.
Yeah.
potentially, I mean, compensatory formulas are a little difficult
They are.
to navigate. But like, if he signs a $20 million a year deal with another team, they could get a third-round compensatory pick.
Jeez, man. That's
crazy.
Casario has done a phenomenal job in just a couple of years of being there in Houston, man.
Salary cap really is fake. How do you just cut off 3 years of a guy's contract? I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that one either. I don't know how they did that.
I
And
know
how did no one else do it before him? You know, like if this has been allowed,
it has to be willingness from the player too.
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
So,
yeah, fair enough.
The player has to be willing as well. Like we can't just say like, "Oh, why don't you just do this?" The player also has to
Right,
agree.
yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. Actually, I'll say fuck the next 3 years of my deal. I want to be a free agent after this year. Make it a prove it year. Pretty much. For
I
Diggs.
also heard that Chris Sims said this on his podcast. I don't know who his sources were or anything.
man.
Yeah, I don't know who his sources were or anything, but He said, it's just funny to think about. He said apparently Stefon Diggs was allowed to seek a trade from any team except the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sounds right.
That was the only team.
Apparently the
he
same
wasn't allowed
thing
to
for
go.
Deontay Johnson too.
Oh, really?
So yeah, the Chiefs have turned into the ultimate villain in the NFL. So
Pretty
I
much.
thought the Chiefs made sense as the landing spot for Johnson in a Snead trade. So I guess that's probably what happened. They wouldn't trade.
I'm assuming, yeah.
I thought the Steelers were going to trade for Snead, and apparently that got nixed probably because
the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Chiefs wanted Johnson probably.
Yeah, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. It's just that they are the Darth Vader of the NFL. It's just that simple. They are inevitable.
Darth
They're
Vader's
Thanos.
awesome.
They're Thanos. Like it's just that simple. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so the Houston Texans are on the rise, and they're looking to compete in the AFC. So I'm going to name some AFC teams. You tell me who you're taking going into next season, the Houston Texans or this team.
Nice.
We'll start with the division rivals, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Easily the Texans.
Texans.
Okay.
In order, I apologize.
Yeah. Let Lavis do it.
My bad. I lost my list of teams. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Texans in year one. I think the Chargers are on the come up though.
Yeah, Texans.
Taking the Texans as well.
All right. The Pittsburgh Steelers with Russell Wilson.
Texans.
Texans.
Texans as well.
Okay. The Buffalo Bills, the team they just made a trade with.
Texans.
This is tough.
Is
It's tough though,
Yes.
It's the Texans.
because right now Allen is better than Stroud.
Right.
Agreed.
But everyone else on the
yeah,
Texans
you can make the
is
argument.
better
that.
than almost everyone else on the Bills.
I'm going to trust Brandon Bean. I think the Bills are going to figure this one out.
Looking
And
at
I
it,
just think Josh is that damn good. And he's
looking
about to prove it. So.
right now on paper, Texans are better.
Yes,
But
I agree.
the Bills could pull off some wins.
I'm just going to give it to the Bills, and I think this is the Josh Allen MVP year. So,
Sure.
Next up, another AFC North team, the Cleveland Browns.
Texans beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Texans only got better.
Yeah, Texans.
A team that was a little bit disappointing last year, the Cincinnati Bengals.
See, this is tougher
Probably-
than the Bills for me.
I disagree.
Really?
I'll probably take the Texans unless the Bengals could. There's potential that they trade T. Higgins, which would drop them down even further. But I'm still taking the Texans.
Man. I have high hopes for the Bengals this year, but I don't know. That Texans team looks damn good.
I'll just jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to take the Texans. I think the Bengals have lost a few too many key pieces, namely DJ Reader. I think that's going to be a loss that hurts quite a bit more than people realize. And the T. Higgins trade that is forthcoming. I mean, we know that's pretty much a formality at this point. The man does not want to be there anymore.
Think he gets traded on draft night or no?
Most likely. That's what my guess would be.
So,
Carolina.
let me just say.
Carolina.
Yeah, it's the Texans.
The Miami Dolphins.
Texans.
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 Miami's lost way too much talent. They lost Hunt, $100 million guard. They lost Wilkins at
Yep.
DT. Those guys
Van
are not.
Ginkel.
Van Dinkle. Not easy to replace those guys.
Van Dinkle.
Dinkelberg.
Cut Xavier Howard. I know that.
Howard too.
Yeah, but they've added some guys too. They've added a few.
They lost
vets
their
to
center, right?
to the roster. Yeah, McGovern. I
No.
think it's McGovern. But anyways, any other ones?
The Ravens and the Chiefs.
I'm taking the two teams that you
Yeah,
just
I'm
stated.
Yeah,
over the
Ravens and
Texans.
Chiefs
Ravens and
over the
Chiefs.
Texans.
Okay. So right now you guys would have the Texans at about third in the AFC.
Third or fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Fine with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.